let's get into it like in that way, like to introduce it that way. What's good, squad? Frosty Phenix here. Welcome to another edition of Phuca-Pod. Be sure to check us out all across social media at Phucaname, Phucaname. Be sure to check us out wherever our podcast is available. If you like the content, however you're listening to us, give us a like, a follow, a subscribe, rate us 5 stars, and leave a comment for any content you want to hear us cover in the future, or however we can improve our content if need be. I'm here with the usual squad specs. Introduce yourselves if you want to be found on this interwebs.
Yo, what's goody? What's good, y'all? We back and everything. I think it's our first episode in like a month, maybe a little more than a month.
2 months.
So, 2 months, my fault.
Okay, let's just have them look up when we've been gone.
We've been busy.
But yeah, what's good, y'all? Of course, y'all hearing the voice of WaveyGawd, of the waviest one, waviest bird ever, the sneaker lover, anime watcher, video game player. You know what I'm saying? Trying to make $1, trying to get rich. But like I say every episode, these hobbies make me poor. So y'all subscribe and follow and do all that good jazz and everything. So next squad mate, you're up.
What up? It's DesertSkies. You know how it is. The coolest geek in the desert. And we all know that a desert fox swims better than a corner fox.
Yes.
We all know that a desert fox does better combos than a corner fox.
What else he do better than a corner fox?
A desert fox wears Crocs better than a corner fox. Like, it just everything.
Hey, yo.
I like Crocs too. Though.
Yeah, I just got my Crocs. I got the little Sonic pegs in them. I feel cool.
Widgets or whatever.
The widgets, there you go. Because I was like, what are these things called? But, we out here. We doing it again. We out here and just having fun with it, like always.
This is the noob over here, just trying to keep an ear to the industry and keep up with what games are going and trying to enjoy the hobby that, like Wavy said, making me poor.
Makes me poor.
Basically, Noob City guys here to the streets right now. You know what I'm saying? So y'all pay close attention to him.
But the deal is, for today's topic, even though it's making us poor, somehow the industry is also poor. Allegedly. Some people out here allegedly poor and making other people who put their hard-earned love and blood, sweat, and tears in our games, and it's just not enough. So I think over halfway into 2024, we've seen a lot of effects from the industry and gaming, and we got to talk about it. We got to talk about it before the end of the year comes. We got the holiday season coming, Switch 2 on the horizon, other games that are on the horizon, but some of these industries are doing us.
Anyway.
Say what?
Rumors about the Switch 2 anyway. You don't know if it's true or not. But
allegedly it's on the way. Allegedly it's on the way.
Because these Switch frame rates can't take it no more, man.
I don't want to buy a new Switch. And Switch Lite is not enough. How long can you wait? It's been a long time. It's like, can you wait?
It's been 7-8 years. It's been 7 to 7 years. So it's about the
about
lifespan.
time.
Like Corner said before, it's about the lifespan. Yeah.
While Sony out here, PS6 not PS5 Pro. We're in the halfway point. PS5 Pro. It's regular, then it's Pro, then it's new.
They've been doing this since the PS3 with the PS3 Slim and the halfway point, and then
PS2,
PS4 Pro.
There's a PS2
They had
Slim.
the PS2 Slim too, yeah. So they've been doing this, but they just started the whole Pro thing with the PS4 and everything.
They need to call the PS Pro the PS Not Got, because I don't know who's about to pay for that.
People are gonna buy it. I don't know how many people are gonna buy it. People are gonna buy it though.
Yo, take yourself out the country with that money. Don't buy a PS Pro. Take yourself out the country. See the world.
$700.
a friend of mine. Keep your eyes out. A friend of mine and I've been talking, and he's a computer nerd, and people want to say you can get a PC for $700. He's like, no, you can't. not a great one, but Mark, one true noob. You brought this topic to the table and talking about the gaming industry and notes, and we'll get some thoughts from DesertSkies in the industry himself. Let's get started on the conversation.
Yeah, so honestly, what is going on with the gaming industry right now? And just like you said, how is that roller coaster being run at this point? We've come out of the pandemic boom. There's been a lot of innovation and unexpected hits that have come out of that, from Animal Crossing and some of the other studios that have just gotten games that have just soared through the roof because we really couldn't leave our house at that point. But now we
It's
come
true.
to 2023 and our current year, 2024, and there are just a bunch of just bloat, as companies probably would call it, that is now being laid off. And it's not just one industry, not just one company. It's a great many, and even ones that have sold well. So one of the things that I want to talk about first is we got to talk about the live service model. Guys, what do you think about the live service model? Because it's worked for some things, it's not worked for other things. I personally had fun with, Apex Legends, a little bit of Overwatch, but then you got other things like Marvel's Avengers and the infamous Anthem, and now, of course, Concord, that have just fallen flat. And what do you think about that? Is live service dead or not?
That was gonna be my example of Concord, because like I don't. I think since like the pandemic happened, that pandemic boom, like you said, we said this on here before too. That boom happened, like big tech, like what Desert said, like what Desert said and stuff like that. Before, I think it was just like
I want to laugh
they
too.
hired all these people and everything like that. So like when like stuff started going, uh, when it started going like south, whatever, like people started doing everything, doing stuff in the house, and started going out the house and stuff like that. People started leaving the industry, like leaving video games and stuff like that alone. So they try and get this money back and all that kind of stuff. So and live service is like the main way to do that, but if it's not a good game, it's not gonna fly like that, So
Mm-hmm.
Nothing
Do you
about
think
live
that's
service is dead. It's going to keep on going for the rest of our lives.
it got to be good though. It got to be good.
It's got to be good,
Like
but it's going to keep on going because, like, Black Myth Wukong right now, everybody's saying it's a great game. They're having a great time with it. And you know what's going to happen? It's going to have DLC because people are going to
but is
keep on
that live
playing
service
it.
though?
But you keep on adding to it. But no, it's not live service. But, like, what I mean is, I should say, is that people are going to keep adding onto their games. It's not just going to be just one product. But as far as live service, like you're saying, like Apex and everything like that, people are still going to play it because it's a fun experience. You get something new every season, every like few months. You're expecting new content because gamers are that just endless, hungry dragon that always wants something new. So unless like people are all of a sudden just like, oh, I just want my solo story experience from now till forever, like there's always going to be things like the next live service game I'm looking forward to is Marvel Rivals. The Marvel Overwatch or whatever you want to call it, but that's going to be a huge hit. It was already a huge hit in beta, closed alpha, everything. And it's going to be live service. They're going to keep adding characters, they're going to keep adding cosmetics, and it's just going to keep going.
So then, in your opinion, then what makes a live service that people don't want to play versus one that is going to be inherently successful?
It's usually just like how
Like,
you spend your money. Because, like, for example, Candy Crush, live service game, that thing's been going forever. When you
Right.
spend like $5 to get, 5 blocks to like destroy a level, you feel like it's worth your money. $5 makes sense to you to spend your money. Or if you're in Apex Legends, you're like, okay, I'm spending $20 to get the battle pass because I'm going to get like $40 worth of content. That makes sense to you. But then when the company starts shifting things, it's like, oh, you're paying $20 of money to get like $10 of content or to get $20 of content again. You're like, wait a minute, this doesn't feel right. I used to get more for less. So it's like companies who like try to like nickel and dime you at every place. Like, oh, if you want to play this, you got to keep adding $5 more. Oh, you want to do this, $5 more. It's like, you didn't do this before. Why are you doing it now? So like, when you feel like your money's worth it, you're going to keep spending. Or you really
it's
love the
also with the
experience.
suits. It's also with the big suits and the big time people that are heads of these companies. They just want to return. That's the bottom line. They want to return, and they saw what live service is doing with Fortnite and Roblox, all that kind of stuff. And it's just like, yo, we want our own revenue stream, like in this company where we can just keep money coming in every month. That's why PlayStation tried to do that thing with Concord. And y'all saw what happened to that. You know what I'm saying? Like they're shut down, but they're not. I don't. They shut the service off, but I don't think that like it's shut down. I don't know if they're gonna do a complete overhaul of it. Maybe they're gonna make it free to play or something like that. I don't know. Maybe they'll make it better. Maybe they're gonna revamp some of the gameplay mechanics. I don't know, but
Is Anthem still playable?
I actually don't
What's
know.
Anthem?
I guess that's the answer right there.
Anthem wasn't live service. So was it live service?
Yeah,
It was
supposed to
it was
be.
going to be, if it
Yeah.
got past
okay.
month 1.
So, everybody is talking about Concord right now just because that's the latest one to flop. However,
There's
and
been
correct
others.
me if I'm wrong, gentlemen, but like to me, Concord is it's a myriad of things that went wrong. First of all, they began development back in 2016, what games were hyped back then? That's basically Overwatch.
Destiny
Overwatch
2
had just come out.
in there.
It was revolutionizing that area as a hero shooter.
Yeah.
And then also the amount of money that it took, of course, costs skyrocketed with developments, starting within 2016, and with the pandemic that halted some things with a lot of games. And then it was only now just able to come out 4 years after the pandemic, now to a space where there are so many, like Overwatch got a sequel, you got Valorant, you got Marvel Rivals that's coming out. It was just a crowded space. So honestly, I think it was just a myriad of things that just went wrong. And having watched the Gamescom, that announcement, with it being the initial thing, nobody seemed to really want it because they were just tired, or at least the sentiment seemed like they were tired of those specific types of games coming out because we already had players in the space that were doing it well.
Oversaturation.
Oversaturation.
That feels saturation.
People say that, but Concord, because I played the open beta, it wasn't a bad game. It wasn't as paused as it should have been, but they made a hero shooter that cost $40. Like, if there was anything that was going to kill it, it was that part right there. I could play any other hero shooter for free, and you want me to pay $40 for yours that's not even as good or anywhere like polished like the other ones?
Well, and that's a great point. Is that simply because I'm pretty sure Fortnite cost money when it first came out? I'm pretty sure
regular
Overwatch
game
did too. But again, they were in that space for so long that they were able to move to the free-to-play model because what you're going to pay for in that space? The skins and every other like add-on that you could actually put in that game. So do you think it was just, again, it came out too late?
That could be one issue that it came out to. Like you said, it started development in 2016. It wasn't what was on the market already, Overwatch, and hero shooters started coming out after that too. So like y'all were late to the party. First of all, second of all, you're in a day and age now where like first of all the economy is not the best right now, so people are being wise with their money and what they want to spend it on. So you're gonna ask people like Desert just said, you're gonna ask people to spend $40 on a game. Another hero shooter where I could just play Overwatch or Marvel Rivals coming out pretty soon and stuff like that. Valorant is free to play too. Like, all these hero shooters that are free to play, you're gonna make yours $40. What's so special about y'all as $40? Like, and I think I said that on here before too. Like, that's gonna be a mistake on PlayStation's part because y'all gonna make it $40, but y'all put it in a place where like Star Wars Outlaws is coming out and Black Myth Wukong is coming out like in that same month. So y'all like making it. It's a lose situation at that point. You know what I'm saying?
The Horizon Dawn era of coming out.
Exactly.
That game did it not once but twice.
Right, and then
First
PlayStation
Breath of the Go ahead.
PlayStation's at fault too because like they're pretty good with not marketing stuff, and they didn't market nothing about this game. Like they did with the PS Vita too. They didn't market the PS Vita like that, and look how it went. It went under really fast.
Right.
They didn't market nothing with Concord. They did horrible marketing with that, and because of that, it just went straight down. But Desert said too, like he played the open beta, and he said it was a cool game. He said it was trash. He said it was cool, but it's like nothing made him like. If I'm wrong, Desert, nothing really made you go back to it, right?
Like I was having fun with it. I was enjoying the characters. Were they like memorable? Like some of them were. Like I was enjoying gameplay, getting to know new characters and because I'm a hero person shooter. I realized that's my genre now. I didn't know it was until they actually came out, but that's why I really enjoy it. So I was like, okay, I would give this a chance. I would play it again, see what would happen. But just like you put that $40 on it, I was like, yeah, now you're making me think about it. And I'm not going to do that. And it's just like, for 8 years of development, they must have had a ton of pivots. So they probably weren't confident in their product or whatever was happening. And then they should have went out with Overwatch if they're going to make it cost $40. Because like Mark said, Overwatch did cost money when you first got it. But then when it first came out and you bought the $40, like the skins were free. Like you didn't have to pay for the skins. But then they switched the model over to the live service, and that's why you pay for all the cosmetics now. So I'm like, their $40 should have came out eight years ago. They should have tried to go against Overwatch.
And it's the same now with Fortnite and some of those other games that actually have lasted. I'm not sure if Fortnite is 10 years old yet. I thought it was like getting there.
Like the actual game or like the
actual
free-to-play
game.
model?
To search engines.
Because I think the last time I looked it up, it was like 9. It was like right there. And I was like, oh, look, the first game
It's
to
almost
actually
double
make it to
digits.
10 years.
Yeah, because it was like, well, because Fortnite is like, it was like a tower defense kind of game.
Oh,
something like that,
2017.
right?
Oh, okay. So it's still got some time.
All right, so the next year, they basically remodeled it the next year and made a free-to-play model and stuff like that. The Battle Royale model and stuff. Okay. And then
So
that's
to
what made
kinda
it pop off.
To kind of swing it around. So, yeah, I actually wonder if any game that has been marketed as to last 10 years, has any of them lasted for 10 years?
Yes.
I
Overwatch
thought-
is 2 years away.
Go ahead.
Not saying
Yeah, I
Overwatch
was
2
gonna
years
say
away. 'Cause
Fortnite
it came
might
in
be the first one.
2016. And then
Now,
Apex
like
Legends.
on the Battle Pass model, Warframe.
You
is
can
one.
say on the Battle Pass
We're
model.
not talking about no
Battle Pass
Warframe.
model.
Get out of here with that. We talking about.
I mean,
fun
Warframe
games.
is.
But I'm
Frosty got a point though.
I've never played
Frosty, I
Warframe.
mean, Frosty got a point though. Warframe is the last.
I mean,
It came out in 2013, 2012,
Yes.
something like that.
Yes.
And it's still like going to this day, and like people still love it. So
Yep.
I was going to say, wow, I guess.
Frosty
If
being one.
we're going to go, if we're going to do that. One of the other things that we kind of started out with is, yes, the industry layoffs. And I actually had this pulled up from Polygon, and I also had a couple of other articles from The Verge here where it was talking about back in 2022, roughly 8,500 video game industry workers were laid off. And then it jumped to 10,500 in 2023. And then in the beginning of the year, and I'm going to single out one company here, beginning of this year, more than 6 people laid off just 90 days into the year.
And
So
You said 6.
I think it's 6,000. Did I say 60? Yeah, probably.
You said 6. I was like, oh,
You said
6.
6.
I'm
That's what I was like.
6,000.
I was like,
that's
that's.
I feel bad for
Magnitude
people,
of a
but
thousand
that's
there.
not bad.
I was like, that's not bad actually.
That's
I'm
great.
sorry.
But
Because
yeah,
you had that
so-
dramatic pause. 6 people were laid off earlier this year. They're not reacting the way I said that.
But
Yeah, I
like
don't care about those
naming
systems.
some of those companies, we got Annapurna, which is one of the more recent ones, the one that made Stray, which is a subsidiary of one of the movie companies. We've got Bungie, which has laid off 100 workers first, like way back at the beginning of the year, and then 200 afterwards with
Yep.
the release of, I want to say, the Final Shape, because the
Yep.
Final Shape did not sell as well. And
No, it's-
there's a lot more drama to that.
I think it sold great, but it was too late kind of deal. Like it was still like that's allegedly that ceiling. Like you said, it sold great, but I guess there's some imaginary ceiling. Like, but it didn't sell great, I guess.
And we're going to
You
get to
know?
that as well. Just some
Yeah.
of the other ones, of course. EA had a couple with, I believe, 600. I said a couple, but 600 people that got laid off.
Not 6.
And then-
You're
To
confusing
me,
the
one
audience.
of the-
You know, only 5 people got laid off from EA.
Orders
I
of
mean,
6,
500.
yes.
I'm sorry.
Last month.
Times 100.
Last month.
Times 100.
Last month.
And then
one
I think,
person got
honestly,
laid
one of
off.
the most egregious ones, Tango Frameworks with Hi-Fi
Yeah, that
Rush.
sucked. Yeah, that sucked. But they got
That
picked up by
one-
somebody though, so that's good now.
They
They
did
did?
get picked up.
Okay.
Yeah, they got
They
picked
got
up. But I think it was just ironic how Matt Booty, the one of the spokespeople for Xbox,
Mm-hmm.
is talking about we need these little games to excel. Exactly what Hi-Fi Rush did for Xbox, and then they let them go.
I'll insert one thing in here. Shout out to the missus. She's like getting into gaming, so she's on Switch and all that kind of stuff. She's picking up indie games, right? So
Nice.
like shout out to a game like Promenade. I mean, I know in our chat, Wavy, you put me on Indivisible, and then shout out to our homie Matt, who also played Indivisible, but put me on to the unfortunate actions of the CEO of that company and why that game is no longer getting like DLC because it folded, like, which is like mistreatment. But in dabbling in this other side, like I'm in AAA games, all that kind of stuff, and she's in the indie games. They have a like convention, like the streaming convention, like there's like a like mini cons for like indie games, like people that are just like going and making games passionately. So like to that point, like we need these indie games, and it's almost like these indie games need to happen so that AAA games can be AAA. Because if there's only AAA games, like if everyone's super, no one will be. Like you need to have the games that suck. You need to have the games that suck. Like, I mean, like, I'm not.
So indie games suck.
I was like, I think you mean.
No, I'm talking.
I don't think that's the transition you wanted there.
No. And the way it sounds, let me put it to you. Even AAA games, like you need to have the AAA games that are horrible. You need to have the indie games that might not be as great because of budget or whatever reason. Because there'll be AAA games that'll be amazing. There'll be indie games that surpass AAA games because you can tell the difference. Yeah. There needs to be that many things. So if we were trying to dominate, and there's like only one game left, then that's not really. Well, like I guess I don't know if that'll follow the Monopoly range, but indie games are important just to reiterate that fact that
yes, Fukunami does support indie games. Just so
we definitely do. We definitely do.
Little title at the bottom.
Yo, Hades, amazing.
Tales from Kanzara Zao. Two of us played.
Yes,
a couple of years ago.
Zao. Oh, that was a fun game.
That was an amazing game.
Yo, African Story. Loved it.
Yeah.
And so
I was like I said, I was sold on him when he had gotten the Game Awards, talked about his dad. I'm like, all right, yeah, I'm getting it. And
he's loving the game. What the game was dedicated to his father. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I think that's something to talk about later. About you can tell the difference between games that are made for money and games that are made out of love.
But there's like I think people
money games
like
do good too. They got
money
some
games do
love
good
there.
too.
They definitely do. But it's like I think like also too that like it's like also part consumer, also like part I think I said the publishers, the big publishers and stuff like that. Because like I think with the publishers they want that return, but then they also want like that big hit that's going to get them like more people. But then in the consumer way, they only like playing certain kinds of games too. That like it has to be fire. Or if it's not fire, then I don't really want it. Like sometimes it's good to have like sometimes it's good to have like a 7 out of 10 game or whatever, a nice little AA game that's like not like cost expensive, but it still gets the job done. You know what I'm saying? Like it's good to have those kind of games too.
Right.
Like not everything has to be like a cinematic adventure. You know,
right.
You know if you feel me. So that's my aspect of it. But like I think that also comes in with like. People from like that came in from like the pandemic that got in the game and made it like super mainstream, and I'm trying to say this. I'm trying to figure out a way to say this. The gaming industry has been infiltrated with a lot of
frauds.
Exclusive place for all gamers.
Excuse my French, bitch ass niggas.
No.
Like, cause like they just
loves all gamers equally.
like
just opinions.
Not all of them are like that. Not all of them like that, obviously. But there are a couple where like if it's not a fire 9 out of 10 or like super mainstream, they're not going to play it. Or they're like and sometimes they don't want to play the little indie games because it's not like. They don't play it themselves. They go to reviews and everything like that, and like the reviews put it down, and instead of them trying it themselves, they don't. They just like go with the review and go with the mainstream audience, and they don't even play stuff.
Right.
And like sales go down, and these big companies, these indie companies that are making these games that are like actually nice, they can't do nothing no more because they're not selling and everything. So yeah.
But I mean, there is a point in there when you say like. There's a lot of people, I think it's the highest point, especially in our lives, that trolling is just the thing to do. Like, if you don't like one thing about a game, you will review bomb it to like hell. And it's just like, okay, even if you had a valid point, oh, I don't like the mechanics of this game. 0 stars or 1 star. I couldn't do that. Just like, you could have a critical opinion about a game or something you're passionate about and not trash it at the same time, you know?
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where it's like, while Fukuname is very inclusive to all gamers, there are people who just come in and game and just complain. That's just your role in life. You are a troll.
And that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the majority of because most gamers aren't like that. But there are some that are just trolls and people that just don't try anything new. And if that's what I'm talking about. Those are the frauds that I'm talking about.
Because I mean, we all can point out games we haven't finished before. Like we played a game oh, this is kind of fun, and then never touched it again. But we didn't go onto the website and be like,
exactly,
this game was a waste of everything I've ever loved in life. Ah!
Shout out to T-Pain and Snoop Dogg who game and Twitch and they're chilling. I'm questioning whether or not they're games before. I would love to have a conversation with y'all on the podcast if you've been a gamer for a long time and just didn't stream. Please come on the podcast and talk about your experiences. That'd
be cool.
Mark,
one of the things that and Drew, I want to hear your opinion about this, especially being in the industry. But I think one of the things that that have affected layoffs is, I'm just going to be very honest, mismanagement at the top, growing costs. We all have been hit by it. Inflation, costs are rising. It now just costs more to make a good game. We can single out how much it made, how much Concord cost to make, how much, I'm trying to think of the other games that have had ballooning costs, but they're escaping my mind right now. But how each game now, especially AAA, costs almost a movie budget to make.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you then have to sell that across whatever platform you want to do. You get exclusive deals with Sony or Xbox or whatnot. And then at that point, now you have to get that back. You have to get that return. And you may not hit that, even if you sell well. That's kind of what happened with Final Fantasy 16. People like the game, and I say this generally, but it didn't sell well according to Sony and their projections. So almost expectations are another reason why it's just not hitting what people say it should hit. And I say people, meaning the company. Mm-hmm. And I think having those too high expectations, it's almost like, I don't want to coin a phrase here, but it's like the Marvel effect. When Marvel in the 2000s and the 2010s were just hitting, each movie was making over $1 billion. Everything was an event. And then you come to now, and then there's a whole bunch of disappointments, not even just because of trolling, as you guys talked about, but also just because these movies, these series take so much money to make that it's almost impossible to just make all that back to make a profit. And so if you're not the number one series being talked about right now, Helldivers, Pal World, if you're not those, then you're not making your money back. And then you're a failure, even if you're number 3, number 4, number 5. So yeah, to me, I think if I were to say top 3 things on why there are these layoffs, I would say mismanagement at the top. I would say the growing costs and just the sales expectations of where they need to get to. That creates a perfect storm of, hey, you might actually have a really good game. But then if you're not the talk of the town all the time, and you try to say, oh, we're going to make $1 billion, we're going to make that end game money, but we're just Captain America 4.
Dang!
What happens? That's what happens when you have that level of expectation. And maybe you're writing your name all the time, like Final Fantasy, like Pokemon, like these huge franchises come up with the next thing. That's why I'm kind of worried a little bit about the sales projections for Monster Hunter Wilds. World sold around 26 million units, and that, if you look at Capcom right now, their number one seller is not Mega Man, ain't Street Fighter.
No,
it's Monster Hunter, which has propelled it from being a niche game that nobody heard of. I say nobody, but some people heard about back in the Freedom Unite days.
Japan, and then some that got their.
It was always huge in Japan.
Yeah, some that got their hands. You're a big deal in the West if you got your hands on a game from another country. Access. We have VPNs early. It's a big deal. You had access to a game that wasn't even native to here.
So
hacked.
with World having 26 million under its belt, not to mention Rise and Sunbreak, what are the numbers going to be for Wilds? What do they think it's going to be?
Yeah, it's pretty rough because like definitely mismanagement because not everyone, not even everyone, a lot of executives in the game industry aren't gamers or people who've worked in the game industry themselves. So it's like they like don't understand our processes sometimes, and it shows. And then when you talk to people, and it's like, oh, we want to make 50 million on this game, but it costs 30 million for staff, 15 million for marketing and all this other stuff. And it's like, what's the easiest way to recoup our losses if we have them? It's to cut people, because it's like we're trying to get the leanest, meanest machine to still get the same product, but with like less hands on deck. So it's always rough with that because that's the first people to go. And it's always the people at the lowest sometimes. And then you see, surprisingly, people at the top, like senior level people getting cut because like, oh, your job is redundant because we have somebody else who could do that job. And, they're going to stay and you don't have to. So it's like very unfortunate because like a ton of people, like I'm on LinkedIn all the time and you see nothing but like, oh, look, pray for our friends here at this studio. Pray for our friends here at this studio. Here are some jobs. Like, and if you look at it right now, all jobs are like senior level. So God forbid you're like somebody who's like QA or somebody, or like me, I'm an associate game designer. And if I were to go out there now, it'd be like pretty hard because I can't like jump into a senior designer level position. I'd have to like try to go back to QA or hopefully find a mid-level designer job. So
shout out to you on LinkedIn. I see you share those jobs on LinkedIn.
Oh yeah, I try to share all the job posts I can because I'm like, it might be me one day and I need somebody to share some job posts for me, like, because everybody says in the industry, like the game industry is very small. You're gonna work with somebody you've seen before at one studio or another. So hopefully, like what I do helps out somebody,
And I think every industry is going through that right now too. But like they're going through like that layoff stuff like that, and like I think big tech and gaming suffered the most because, like I said before, and like our Desert said before, that like that pandemic boom, that did it. Like they thought that was gonna last forever, and it didn't. You know what I'm saying? Like 2021, they were just hiring like crazy, and then like when 2022, 2023 happened, they started people started going back outside. Like a lot of gamers started leaving and stuff like that. a weird word, right? But like, people started doing what they wanted to do again, and like they're not the gaming industry and the big tech is not making the money they were making before. So they're like, damn, what are we gonna do? We have to cut some people. Like even Microsoft right now, like they cut 1,900 people in the beginning of the year. They cut 650 more people, I think, real soon. So like that
was a ton.
It's hard and like the way to make that money back is that live service aspect. But again, it has to be a good game. Like you can't just make a live service and think you'll make all your money back and have this continue revenue stream. You know what I'm saying?
But it's weird. Like companies had like two extremes on the pandemic. At first, it was like, "Oh, we'll be back in 2 weeks. Oh, we'll be back in a month." 3 years later, and then towards the end of the pandemic, because COVID's still out there. It's like, oh, we'll keep it going. They'll never go outside again. Oh wait, they're going back outside. What do we do? It's just like okay, no one's forward thinking enough, like in spaces to be like, okay, well this is working. Let's do this. Okay, I'm allowed to go back outside again. Let's adjust while we can, or at least like rearrange people so we don't always have to have somebody lose their job. Because like you have enough people, you could like be like innovating and doing other stuff, but it's just like, oh okay, we're working on this one thing. Nothing else is happening. Boop. There you go. Lost your job. It's like, it's rough. Like I'm pretty sure it's hard for the people up top for whatever decisions they make, but for us, mortals down here, it seems like there's no rhyme or reason to what they're doing.
Well, I mean, part of it, I think, is just a tale as old as time, riding trends, right? We were just talking about live service at the very beginning. Overwatch hit, and it hit. They were like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. You mean Fortnite can collab with literally every franchise under the planet and keep pumping out content? Wait a minute. You mean Overwatch can just keep pumping out skins and people will actually pay for them? Wait a minute. You mean I can just keep giving heroes out to Apex Legends and then people will keep paying for it? Oh, well, maybe Marvel's Avengers can have Spider-Man come out at one point. Maybe they can have Nightcrawler. They didn't do that. But like, Like, that's what they can do. And so they see these new revenue streams, and especially when people were not going outside during the pandemic, when there was a huge boom of people being hired and not having to go into the office, perhaps they just saw the potential for infinite growth and were able to leverage those cut costs. But as you guys have just said, everything isn't endless. And so one of the things that I actually wanted to talk about as well is, what does it take to make a number one game? Like,
Marvel Rivals got it right now because like it's Marvel. Like they have that behind them. It's Marvel and stuff like that.
Wow.
Like, you know what I mean?
Familiarity.
It's hype. It's hype and just the right time.
How do we quantify hype? No, I mean, time to market is definitely good. Yes, definitely a thing. But
and November, everybody's wallets are already primed at the starting line.
Holiday season and stuff like that. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Is Sparking's coming out in October, right?
It's coming.
Sparking is
October
coming out in
11th.
2 weeks.
I am about to pre-order that.
Wait, excuse me.
October 1st.
Oh my goodness!
It
It's
comes out
October 11th.
It comes out the same day as Dragon Ball Daima.
Yeah, it's the 11th.
Wow.
I still
genius
feel
marketing.
convinced to watch Dragon Ball Daima, to be honest. And it's not because I'm like Dragon Balled out. It's just because I'm like, what is this? Mini Goku? Mini just Dragon
One
Ball
third
Z?
time.
No, I'm okay.
I mean, we've had a mini Goku before, but anyway.
We grew up with the man. You know what I'm saying? Like, but hey,
But no, I'm excited for some Sparking Zero. Oh my god!
And that's the thing. You're right. I get it. It's hype, time to market, good marketing, just actually believing in your
y'all
product.
see the Toonami?
Good marketing,
Tsunami promo?
PlayStation. Good marketing.
Oh yes.
Y'all see the
oh yes.
Toonami Sparking Zero promo? Somebody in there's a millennial. Somebody's in there a millennial, man. Like somebody said, listen.
Someone's like, "Sir, I know what to do." Oh,
Someone,
okay.
someone saw that Toonami Dreams promo and said, "We need to do something like this again."
He said, "Sir." He said, "Sir, let me cook. I got you."
You just started here last week. I know. This is why.
Let me cook.
Bro.
And so, as I discussed with some of the guys that I just talked video game industry about, I hope some of these executives like Phil Spencer and Mark Cerny and the people that run certain studios like Ubisoft and good lord, I keep
Bungie, Annapurna.
leaving. Thank you, like Rockstar and WB
Which we're
Games
still
and all
waiting
that.
on GTA 6. All the comments.
We'll get there.
We'll get
And
there.
there's rumors that I might get pushed back too, but that's just rumors right now.
You'll have kids by the time that game comes out.
There's so many comments on things like we're getting Marvel. No, we're getting a Doctor Doom movie before GTA 6.
Oh, yeah,
we're
before.
getting.
Yeah, that's
We're
actually
getting-
that's a popular
we're-
thing to see on like Twitter
We're
and
getting
like
blah before
everywhere now.
GTA 6. Yeah, like at least
And I
some
just-
comments to see when something happened. We're getting a new Devil May Cry Netflix show before GTA 6. It's like, what's that got to do with anything? Like, why are you
And
here?
I just hope that these executives know, like, don't just. I guess my humble opinion to people who make millions of dollars per year would be, is examine the trends, especially if you're going to try to like ride them, because if you, especially now in the digital age, trends are going to last what, like not even a
flash
year,
in the pan.
not even two.
Right. Flash
So if a game
like,
is taking 8 years
No,
and you're flip flopping, yeah, go ahead.
you remember, and I keep the rings in there with Bungie, and it's like, say, Bungie and the Destiny model was something that people tried to copy with selling the whole game, and then they did seasons, and now they're on the Battle Pass wave like everybody else, and they tried doing skins, and they even collabed with Fortnite once. They even collabed with Fortnite, where Destiny characters in Fortnite.
Really?
And
What was that?
like 2 years ago, Zavala,
Oh.
Ikora, and like someone else was in Fortnite, and then they had vice versa. You could get Fortnite skins in Destiny, so you could look like Fortnite-ish characters in Destiny, but you had to pay for them. And most of the skins, like say with Fortnite, you can earn those skins by playing the game. Destiny with those collab skins, and they even collab with Assassin's Creed. They collab with The Witcher. Like they had all these things. but you have to pay the in-game currency of silver. And the one thing that got me that's diabolical is like, say, you wanted to get one of the DLCs for you bought something that year. You bought the big DLC that year, and then the season pass might have been like, say, 900 silver, right? But the lowest you can get from silver for money is you can get 1,000. No, it was like 1,000 silver, something like or either 1,100. I think it's 1,100 silver for like a DLC, but you get at minimum you get 1,000. So you had to buy 2,000 to be able to pay for the DLC, which left you 900 to spend in the game elsewhere. Instead of just making it that you can make one purchase for the DLC per the silver, like just getting you a little above. A little above the minimum one you can make to make you buy the above. That was crazy.
That's the execs for you, man. And like people also got, I be seeing some comments talking about like lazy developers, lazy that. I'm like, do y'all not know that these developers are on our side? Because even like it recently came out that like I think it said that 90% of developers believe that premium games don't deserve microtransactions. So obviously they don't want this, but you know what's telling them to do it? The execs up top are saying like, "Hey, we need some money coming in. Hey, can you do this? Actually, make this actually cost these skins cost money."
Suicide Squad.
Yeah, see, you know what I mean? Like
the side.
Did that
No,
game
so the
come out?
Suicide
Did I
Squad
miss
was
it?
supposed to be its own thing, and
Yes, you did.
The reason that the reason it went to live service is because of executive opinion at the top.
You know what's funny?
I was also going to say with Bungie, I don't know if y'all heard about this, but Bungie, when they were acquired by
PlayStation, or are you talking about Activision?
PlayStation, when they were acquired by Sony, certain people get fat paydays, right?
Sure.
Pete Parsons, $2.3 million, bought a whole bunch of vintage cars.
Yeah, I was going to say that too.
And this was right before the 220 employees that got laid off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
my son buying luxurious cars and stuff like that,
and giving tours to people, and giving tours. I know all the content creators that we know that you watch have talked about this ad nauseum, but it's necessary to talk about, and he has yet to come out and debunk these conversations. So it's like your silence.
Why, when you can just make your Twitter go private?
Or that. Oh my gosh.
I know, right? He's like, wait, why would I? I'm rich.
I'm rich. I don't need to explain myself to you. Keep buying Destiny 2. Keep buying skins.
The last point that I actually did want to do about the state of the gaming industry at this point, and I actually just want your guys' opinion on this, and I'll give mine very short. What do you think? A lot of these layoffs and a lot of these gaming woes that we've been discussing have been primarily Western development companies, such as Ubisoft, such as WB Games, Rocksteady, and then certain things like Bungie and whatnot. But we don't hear anything about the Eastern ones. You don't hear anything about Nintendo laying people off. Most famously, Satoru Iwata took a pay cut so that he wouldn't have to lay off people. Yeah. So do you think that there's a difference between Western development philosophy and Eastern development philosophy as to how to create games that people enjoy and also, keep them paid?
Capitalism.
Just want to hear you guys' opinions.
Drew, say it again.
Capitalism.
There you go. Like that's what Americans.
And that's the podcast, everybody.
That's all, folks.
That's America's bread and butter right there, baby. If it's the money, the bottom dollar. That's what it is.
USA, capitalism.
But ironic that you bring that up, Mark, and I'll jump to the line here. I can't remember the name of the first flagship game of this, but now we're talking Honkai Star Rail. Now we're talking Zenless Zone Zero, which I want to play.
That's true.
What's the Genshin Impact?
Hoyo games or whatever?
Hoyoverse game. You can play them on the console. You can play them on the phone. Download a phone near you. You can have access to our game via on your phone or on your console anywhere you want, and you can buy many of our games because guess what they are at base? Free. It's crazy, and then, but like Square Enix is another part of that conversation.
Yeah.
And what's the other, like some of these other games that are coming out? So there was a Korean made game. First Descendant I think is Korean. Is
First
based
Descendant.
game.
Oh, I didn't know.
First Descendant is that is not West. You know
And
what I'm
I
saying?
uninstalled that very fast.
Wow. I mean, I did too, but like. no shade to y'all. I might maybe go back to this. It's very.
I'm mad. He
shiny.
said, "Wow, Judgment." I did too, but anyway.
No, and I can't judge you. No, they I saw a promo for like a new character they're adding to that, where it's like some type of sniper character. And it's like really well designed or whatever. It's like I doubt they could do any of that all in game or whatever. But same thing. Marketing looks pretty. Get the game. Get the character. Doesn't do everything that you necessarily saw to do on the trailer. But they got you anyway. You already got, you played the game to earn it, or you paid out of pocket to buy. We met bottom dollar.
You see what you said right there? You said marketing. Something PlayStation doesn't do at all. Continue.
At all?
Now, if it's not first party games or like their main flagship game, they're not going to market nothing.
Well, usually the marketing comes from the developer, doesn't
The
it?
developer itself. Yeah, if it's somebody that's coming to Sony and they're putting on the game, it's not up to them to market the game. So
Yeah,
the
usually
person
Sony
has their own
publisher.
marketing team, huh?
I thought the publishing does all the marketing, and that's Sony most of the times.
Okay, no, like for real, like so. If Sony's the publisher, like Sony is the publisher of God of War, the developer is Santa Monica Studios, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Sony's
you're right.
Santa Monica Studios.
Well, now they bought them, right? Right. So like, and God of War was exclusive, and Santa Monica was sending them Papa Sony put it out there, and now they're one entity, right? So like, I mean, Desert, you might know better than us. It's like it's an overall merry-go-round of like people blame the publisher and not the developer. Like, who do you blame here? Like for not seeing the game enough, or whatever. Like,
I would think that's definitely the publisher's fault, because developers are supposed to keep developing and making the game, while everybody else in publishing is supposed to get the word out and make you want to buy the game. So if you're not seeing the game, that's the publisher's fault.
right.
Yeah,
So
PlayStation is horrible with that.
So
Concord.
So now is PlayStation horrible? Was Concord is published by is Concord exclusive?
It was
Firewall
published by
developed
Sony.
it. Firewall
Yeah.
developed it. Then I think Sony bought Firewall Studios and stuff like that.
Okay.
So they're the publisher. So they should have been the ones.
So they should have been doing it, because believe me,
They
when
should have
God of
been
War was
pushing it
coming
out
out,
to people.
you couldn't help but know it was coming out. Like it was
Dude,
everywhere.
like it was everywhere, man. It was crazy. I mean, great
If it's
game.
not their first parties, they're not going to market nothing. And that's a shame.
but to the point, like Square Enix, it goes into the Final Fantasy point, Mark, and I think because I'm a big fan of the Final Fantasy product. I didn't play all the games, but I've seen it, and of course, experienced it through the Kingdom Hearts franchise, which is another conversation entirely.
Fire.
But talking about how with Final Fantasy VII's remake titles not doing as well as they would have projected, and
I
16
thought it was
not
just
doing
Rebirth that was doing a good.
remake didn't do great. Did it do great? I don't remember if it did like astonishing numbers or anything like that. But again, Rebirth, to your point, I mean, playing through Rebirth, I'll say this on the podcast: I wish I didn't know what I know about the story. Then the story to me would be more compelling as someone who's played through 7 to the end, and I know too much for this story versus someone who's never experienced 7 at all. This is all compelling. 16. I mean, Corner, if he was on the pod, he had something to do today. If he would speak on it, like I played through 16, there was nothing like super amazing to me about it. It was great. It was a great game. It was a linear story, DLC that had nothing to do with the main story. It was almost like the DLC was kind of like an anime movie when it was like stuff happened on the side that had nothing to do with getting the anime to the end, but it was like that one. You remember that one point between episode 80 and 81 that you didn't know what happened? Yeah, that movie happened. I didn't care, but it's great.
Cool story, bro.
Cool story, bro. Like,
That's exactly
fantastic.
what you said.
And release it after the game ended. It didn't change anything about the ending of it at all. So, Square seems to be doing like okay, but they're questioning things. To your point, it might be the one overseas publisher. It might be kind of like looking at things with a magnifying glass, and everybody else might be doing fairly decent.
Perhaps, yeah, and that's just what I've noticed within the, keeping my ear to the scanner in the gaming industry, with the myriad of articles out there and all of that. It's an interesting shift, and I do believe that with the combination of voting with our wallets, plus also just seeing which gaming studios are going to be swept up where, I think we'll actually see some change. I don't know what will be positive change or what will be negative change at this point, but at this point, the gaming industry cannot sustain itself the way that it's going right now. Is my take on it.
It sure can.
Like something's gonna burst.
Yeah,
or is bursting.
Yeah.
I think it might be. I think it will burst. It's not bursting yet, but it will burst soon. I will say that like the gaming industry always goes through metas of games. 2018, 2017, the whole battle royale phase and stuff like that. I guess now it's gonna be the live service aspect / just Souls-like aspect, because like if you haven't noticed, every other game is like a Souls-like right now these days and everything like that, which is not. It's not a bad thing. People are always saying that, oh, everything's Souls-like, but like every other game is like a first-person shooter or a third-person shooter too. So, and no one's saying nothing about those. So whatever. But I mean, it has those metas that it goes through every other couple of years. So I mean, and this one just happens to be the most expensive. So I mean,
you're talking about expensive in PS5 Pro.
With the nostalgia,
that's another story.
With the nostalgia PS1 skill. Oh, if you haven't seen our latest reel, go ahead and check it out. Made to the end.
Y'all go watch that, man.
It's interesting. They put on that good nostalgia season, and they said, "Oh, you thought it was just regular beef? Oh no, we selling you that good PlayStation 1 looking PS5 Pro, $700." And it looks like the PS1. Someone in the comment section for our reel said, "I've never had a PS1, but I want to buy this."
See, I don't encourage anybody to lose their job, but whoever thought $700 for a console was a good idea,
and I did actually put that. We actually put that on our threads too. Actually, we put that on our threads. Like, do you think that with the price of the PS5 Pro that recently just came out, do you think the future of console gaming is going to be like this? And there were some good responses and stuff like that. But I mean, it's possible that could be what it is, because like if they want to add all that PS5 Pro stuff into the, like, if Xbox is going to do it, PlayStation is going to do it with the PS6, then we might be teetering to that like damn near PC like price.
Xbox just doesn't need. Xbox doesn't need a console. Xbox just needs to go PC.
No, not all of us want to go to PC. Keep the Xbox. Just do better than PlayStation Pro. Because look, I promise you, Microsoft is over here like this, looking at Sony like, let's see how it does first.
Why do they need to? They have the infrastructure. You make your own machine, and then
they're low-key pushing like Game Pass. They're low-key pushing like Game Pass and stuff like that anyway, and like the in-game ecosystem. So like I don't think they're pushing the console like that. I mean, it coming out. Like I think the 2 terabyte Xbox Series X and stuff like that is coming out in the November, like the holiday season. But like they're pushing like the Game Pass narrative and the whole like game anywhere,
because that's going to be their main moneymaker.
Yeah,
that's going to be their main moneymaker. You pay for that service, and for that internet, and then you play their games. It doesn't matter where you play it. It could be their console. It could be a PC that you build.
But I think what Mark said,
every game except Nintendo, because emulation, will come to PC. And with a PC, you can play both. You don't need to be exclusive. The only person that's fighting crossplay is Sony, rightfully so.
Keep doing it.
Technically. Yeah.
Keep fighting.
I'm not even rooting for Sony, and I'm saying rightfully so, just because then why buy a PlayStation? Which is what the PS Pro is showing people. It's like, all right, yes, will making a PC cost you more money in the long run? But you'll have more value.
It's more bang for your buck.
I'm not a PC master race. I've just
which is racist. Master race.
Yeah,
I wonder who coined that term.
Joke.
I wonder who coined that term. No one here at Squad, of course.
I am not a PC spokesperson, but I have seen the benefit. The only thing that I would not be able to do with a PC would be Nintendo. And the Switch is
I am not a believer, but I have seen the promised land.
Nintendo's the
60
only one that's
frames
not
per
going to do it
second.
that way. And
60 frames
I
per
would be
second on the
hard-pressed.
machine.
120 if you
You
spend
heard
enough
it.
money.
I would be hard pressed, and y'all can quote me and give me hate mail if the Switch 2 is more than $500.
It won't be. There's no way.
There's
I don't think
no way.
There's no way they're gonna do that.
And that's what I mean. It's not going to be more than 500.
Because Nintendo, like what they do well is that, well, it's not well, but they're like always back on. They're always a step behind on hardware and stuff like that. That makes it so like.
I'm glad you said if they do well. They're always a step behind.
It's not. That's why I had to like kind of rephrase that. It's not like a good thing, but it's like they're stepping on hardware wise, so they're able to sell it at like a price cheaper than the competition. But the games are so good, it's like I can't pay them nowhere else. I have to get it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and I think Mark said best. No, go ahead. Sorry.
So, no, you can say that. I was doing my fault.
No, I was like, Mark said best. We said we're going to vote with our wallets because I promise you, people are going to buy the PS5 Pro because they have to have the latest technology and be those cool kids. But like the majority of us sane people, we're not going to buy that. I have a PS5. I waited my standard 2 weeks to get it when it first came out, like everyone else. I waited in the store in the queue to buy it. That was good enough for me. I'm cool. Am I going to spend $700?
No.
Right.
You got a stand that came with it.
Like vertical stand, and
you have a disc.
And you have a disc.
Like, hey, they were doing something when they came out with this thing the first time around. I was like, nah. Like if they said, "Oh, PS5 Pro 550, like maybe 600," I'd be like, okay, maybe. But 700? That means you're creeping up. Because look, I'm gonna date myself with this one. These guys all relate to me. Back in my day, games used to be $40 to $50. Like that was the thing.
Time out. Someone showed it was like a picture of the advertisements in the 90s when it was Toys R Us and stuff like that. It was like a picture of Mortal Kombat 2 for Sega Genesis. Guess how much it was?
What, 30?
$60 to $70.
Yeah, I think those prices like kind of fluctuated.
For a Sega Genesis game.
Like I think those prices fluctuated like back in the day. I don't think they were all like a set price. It's some kind of fluctuating and stuff like that. If I'm not mistaken.
The games I buy were $49.99 plus tax. So
mine were too.
Something. I mean, so I don't know this $60.
No, so I said the 90s. Now, mind you, like we're talking early 2000s. We're all graduating college. We all got jobs at this point. So mid 2000s, we can buy those games. But at some point, where games are thing that's like early gaming, like Sega Genesis. SNES, all that kind of thing. Like, and the games might have been that much. We weren't buying them. We weren't paying for those. Us in those podcasts.
My first game was, I think NES or Nintendo 64, and I know.
But you didn't buy it.
Those 60.
But you
they
didn't
weren't
buy
paying
it,
those 60, 70 for it. That's how I know. Like I was getting those bargain bin like Walmart. Like, let me see what's in here. I can also get him. It's like Mario 5 plus Torpedo Shooter 3. Like
Torpedo Shooter 3.
And look how that shaped your career now, Like, you got the smaller games you didn't, like the other games that people didn't hear about, what I'm saying? Like Vector Man, that like died with Sega Genesis, like that kind of thing. That was like definitely like I don't want to say smaller title, but like compared to Sonic the Hedgehog, it was like
Snowboard Kids too.
Yeah, But with that being said,
hey, just pray for the game industry and everyone who works in it, please. That's all we can say.
Honestly,
it's rough out here.
I recognize all the developers who are working on games. That's not easy at all.
It's easy to complain for a pimp.
It is easy for somebody to say, "Why don't games do this?" It is hard to code that stuff and QA it.
Close the thought on that too, Wavy.
Everything. Make art for it. Make it all make sense.
I mean, yeah, I just like they said, pray for the gaming industry and just hope that these executives can actually like I'm sorry, like Noob said, hope these executives can like see this thing will if it will burst, if the bubble will burst, or if it if it has burst already, hopefully it doesn't happen. But hopefully they get it right one of these days, and like things can go back to like, I guess, normal.
And that still makes me mad about the 10 cars because J. Cole said it best. Why do I need 10 cars for? All I can drive is one.
Amen. But I mean, at the same time, if you have these consoles for years and you're a nostalgia gamer, I think this thing that you already own a lot of the consoles. Like, say, I think there was like a point where if you already like if we go straight digital at this point, nostalgia games might like definitely come up where you might pull out the PS2 and an original copy of Kingdom Hearts and play it because you already own it, as opposed to getting the new version for like the shininess, where it's just like you might just chase the nostalgia. I don't know, people get that desperate, but
if you notice about the PS5 Pro, not to bring it back there, but just to make a point that you said, Frosty, all the games that they were showing that were upscaled were like PS4 or PS5 games. We already have them.
Mm-hmm.
Now I can see them in 8K.
It was a little bit of light, yo. It was like
By the way, if your TV doesn't support 8K, you just won't do that. So, by the way, if the developers don't optimize that you just won't do that.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't wait for what?
But you can, though. You can.
And see, and that's the thing people don't think
shell
about.
Out another $1,000, $2,000 for a TV that can.
A brand new TV. $700 for a
guess
console
what?
and a $2,000 for a TV. $2,700 for a new experience, which I already have a TV and PS5. That
Watch it sell it with a TV too. That'd be crazy. If they had sales on televisions.
No, my closing thoughts are this. The gaming industry just needs a reckoning. And I know that's almost like a reckoning world term. End of the world term there.
Hey, yo. Not a reckoning. Oh, man.
But it just needs a reckoning where executives are aware with what consumers, want and can pay for. And maybe just like, some of the prevailing thoughts about Marvel's current situation, make smaller stuff. Make bite-sized things that people play, and as the executive of Palworld said, step away from. People will play Helldivers 2 for a while, and then they'll play something else. People will play Pokemon for a while, and then they'll play something else. Gives you time to make another game. Make these smaller type things, and maybe budget for those. But as long as you keep trying to catch lightning in a bottle, how many franchises has that really worked for? Yeah. That you're able to be like, oh, snap, X was a hit. So now we're going to make a sequel. Sequels usually always sell less. Tears of the Kingdom did. And Breath of the Wild was a hit among Nintendo people. So it's like, I don't know.
It's cool to have double.
If I had to say it in a sentence that might be way misconstrued, the gaming industry needs to read the room. They just need to read the room.
Simple as that.
Reading the room alleges that right now the models to copy are Fortnite and Overwatch, which is now seeing those results of those.
They carved out their space.
And Elden Ring and games like it.
And they carved out their space, and they're successful. So guess what? You don't got to copy somebody else's test to be successful yourself. You just have to know the answers.
Bars.
Uncle Iroh wisdom.
You can't say it better than that, folks. On that note, this has been an episode of Phuca-Pod. It's a wrap for us right here. Be sure to check us out all across our social media at Fukaname. Catch previous episodes of our podcast on whatever podcast streaming service you prefer. We are there, guaranteed. Be sure to check out our website for a lot of our previous episodes if you don't have any of the listening services on your phone, like if you listen on Apple or Spotify. We have our episodes of our podcast on our website as well. I've been your host, Frosty Phenix. Catch me across the web at Frosty Phenix, FROSTYPHENIX. Do voiceovers, do things like that. And Squad, close out with your socials. People can find you on the interwebs.
Yo. You already know it's the voice of WaveyGawd, the waviest bird ever. WAVII_JWD is my tag on both X or Twitter and Instagram. Of course, the sneaker lover, anime watcher, video game player. Like I said, I'm trying to make $1, man. These hobbies making me poor, especially next year, man, because 2025 is going to be crazy for sneakers, and I want them all. So, it's like it's put it like this: 2025 for sneakers, at least for Jordan brand, like the equivalent of 2023 for gaming. So let's put that in perspective.
Wow.
Next squad mate, you're up.
Yo, it's your man DesertSkies, DesertSkies. Get you that little frosty like cadence going there. But but you know how it is. A desert fox is smoother than a corner fox. A desert fox is cooler than a corner fox. And a desert fox knows how to surf better than a corner fox.
Of course it does.
Something new for you. We always out here for the laughs and the good times. Please continue to check us out, and thank you for your support.
You know what it is? The noob over here, 404, represent. Until they take away that area code. Socials still need a little bit of work. We're still working on Order Sanctus, so stay tuned here for more news on that.
Spell it out for people that want to support the Order Sanctus online.
Yes. TheorderSanctus. I'm glad everybody was looking at me to make sure I was spelling it right.
I know, he was like, duh, duh, duh.
Everybody's like,
reading is important. Phonics are definitely so. Catch you guys on the next.
Thank all y'all for following us on threads and stuff like that too, because y'all be posting with us and y'all be in the comments with us and everything too. So we appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? Just keep on following us on threads, keep participating in everything. So get that engagement up.
Absolutely. Thank you guys. Peace.
Peace.